we're going to be working on yet another kind of upside down pose. I feel like our whole world is really topsy turvy, and that to physically kind of take yourself upside down is a way of getting a new perspective, of welcoming in a real fresh new perspective. So last week we did a shoulder stand, and this week we're going to get into not only downward facing dog, but also how to more invert to actually take it to like an upside down dog. We will be using the wall. I will also show I have a couch nearby that I can use. So we'll be using these things around our house that you could do. So the other thing is I just mentioned practicing a steady breath. So we're going to start with a steady breath. I'm going to ask that you find a seated position that's not only comfortable, but that you're really able to bring your spine upright. Anytime that we're going to start to focus on the breath, we first really want to pay attention to the internal kind of architecture so we can breathe. So these breath mechanisms, all of the muscles can most easily work, and we can breathe fully. You might want to close your eyes and start with feeling the base of the body grounding, the lift up to the spine, that widening across the chest. You might drop your arms down to the side. So this kind of drops your shoulders, drops your shoulder blades a little bit. And even sense now your throat, your windpipe, your mouth, nostrils aligned. You could start by just allowing in a deeper breath, like a longer, deeper breath than you usually take. And in that way, you're kind of taking control of your breath. You're choosing the length of the inhale, you're choosing the length of the exhale, and you're increasing that fullness, kind of working, I call it working the breath. But as you're doing this, it should feel good, that it's actually helping you to draw your awareness into the present. And on a very practical level, the natural purifying that happens when we breathe, you're kind of enhancing that. So this is, we could give it a name of samavriti, which is, sama is like same, and vritti is like a cycle or a wave that just repeats over and over. Vritti. So it's equal waves of breath. Stay with this. Sometimes people like to apply a little counting to this, so you can count the pace of the inhale and then that same count on your exhale. And as you stay with this, I'm going to share, this is by Donna Farhi, the yoga teacher, and she's giving her own kind of poetic translation of Yoga Sutra 1.32. As often as is necessary, bring the mind back to a single focus. And what is this single focus? Focus on the absolute certainty of your connection with life, no matter how unfathomable this life may be. Focus on the absolute certainty of your connection with life, no matter how unfathomable this life may be. So, this is kind of the magic of breathing consciously, breathing knowingly. Usually, we're not very conscious of the fact that we're breathing. So, notice what happens, and this can be your own really authentic experience of this. And I know I'm using the word magic, but it's just something that's unseen. So it's almost a little startling, this, oh yeah, this connection that's there all the time. As we bring the mind back to a single focus, this can really help in times like this where the mind runs wild. It might have a little fear of the future. It might really want the past. So it's wise to bring your focus right here and now. Also, as you're doing this, notice the attitude as you're practicing. What is your attitude towards this practice right now? So, part of our practice then is to give yourself fully, deepen and lengthen your breath. This isn't a contest, or you don't want to see just how much air you can get into your lungs, but rather to sense and connect to this freedom that's available, freedom and the joy, just by connecting to your breath, by connecting and focusing on the absolute certainty of your connection with life. I'm going to share another quote by Henry Nouwen. He says, "Did I offer peace today? Did I bring a smile to someone's face? Did I say words of healing? Did I let go of my anger and resentment? Did I forgive? Did I love?" These are real questions. I must trust that the little bit of love that I sow now will bear many fruits here in this world and the life to come. I like how in that quote there's an understanding that this is practice. This is doesn't accidentally happen. That we forgive, that we love, that we let go of anger. These are real questions, and they apply when we're doing work on our yoga mat. So um, let's let go of seated pose. And you're actually going to move right to a child pose. Okay, I'm going to go back to my mat. So this is our first pose where you want to be sensitive then to your bones, joints, muscles, whole body as you drop your head and let your forehead touch. So your forehead is going to touch your mat, or maybe stack your hands. Place your forehead on your hands. And then as you come up, move right onto all fours. Take the knees a little closer together, and we're going to go right into a cat and cow movement. Start maybe kind of small, like you're investigating how your spine feels today. Might be good to feel the natural sections of your whole torso or your spine. So as you're going, for example, to your cat pose, you might pull your navel way up and pull your tailbone under, and then really lift and open across your shoulder blades. So shoulder blades pull apart, and then your head drops and you pull your chin towards your throat. Then you start to let go. So you untuck your tailbone. You might feel that lower back drop down, the widening across the chest. Draw the very middle of your spine in. And then the chest forward. Lift the chin. Long neck. As you lift your chin, try not to push your shoulders up. Do this with your breath and move into that steady breath. That squeezing out, the exhale, that soaking in the inhale. Focusing on this absolute certainty with the connection. I know I'm connected right now. Steady waves. Listen to your breath. Maybe do 2 more of these and really feel the energy in your arms, that work, that straightening, like you are lifting up out of your wrists, not crushing down. There's that energy pulling up through your arms. And just go right back to a child pose. Folding back, let this be really organic, how you fold over here. And then as you come up, moving back up to all fours, the knees come close together, knees now touching, and just we're going to lengthen and extend. So the right leg reaching back, way back, lift the underbelly slightly, and then that opposite, that left arm reaching forward. And just imagine you're doing this like as a big warm up. Release, hand and knee come down, and then left leg goes back. Really reach back as you're ready, that right arm going forward. So slowly do this back and forth. So there's almost like a dance element to this because you're doing this kind of gracefully and fully with your whole body and inner awareness. So you can feel the wave of breath just moving through that. Inhale, soaking in, the exhale out. Free flowing breath, soft face. And that absolute certainty that as you're connecting with how the body feels today, right here and now. Good. As you let this go, take the knees a little bit apart and we'll move into our lateral stretch, lateral movement for the spine. Your right hand is going to reach forward and over towards the left and reach your hips back. That left elbow drops down. And you can really play with like how much you're reaching that right hand over to the left. Deeply connecting. Not forcing. So as you're breathing, there's a lot of space to breathe. There's a decrease of words and thinking or analyzing. Coming up. Switch. Take that left hand over towards the right a bit, dropping that right elbow. Reach the hips way back. So there's a sense within, there's lots of space to breathe into. Mind unconflicted, just connecting. Coming up, as you come up, moving right to downward facing dog. So this is just our first little checking out how down dog feels today. Look back to your feet and spread your toes and do a little walking of the feet, that walking the dog action. Waking up soles of the feet, ankles, calves, and then just moving right into stillness here. In your down dog, being aware of the pose that you're choosing here. And a lot of this is the distance between your hands and your feet, the lift of the heels, like how much you're really lifting your heels or pushing them down. And aware that you're straightening your legs, you're straightening your arms the whole time. Steady the breath. And sense now the spine. So you're just sensing the space around the spine, the lengthening of the spine, all the way to your brain. Good. Let's lightly touch the knees down. And then our final movement of the spine, as we go through the 6 movements of the spine, we'll go into our twist. So take the knees wider apart. Keep the big toes close together. So I like to take left hand a bit more towards the center of the mat, draw the shoulders back, almost like you're doing a little bit of not a cat pose, but a little bit of a cow as you reach the right arm out to the side. And then as you lift and open to the right. So there's lots of space across your chest. You're not like caving the chest in. Ah, space. Move right into the awareness of the breath and the freeness, the steady freedom of the breath. Release, take that right hand down, moves towards the center, left arm reaching out to the left. Sense the spine lengthening as you open here. Really strong bottom arm. Breathing, opening. Now doing this back and forth. Fluid movement if you want to do with the breath. You could inhale, big inhale as you open to the twist. The exhale brings the hand down. And let this just flow back and forth. This absolute certainty. I'm right here. Sensing the prana, the life force, the aliveness. Do maybe one more each side and sense your spine, the actual twisting through the spine. Good. Now as you move, as you let go of this, you'll take yourself right back to downward facing dog. Enough. So we're starting to get into some repetition here, that warming up the strength through the upper body, arms, shoulders. And then come to standing. Walk the feet forward, come all the way up. And then as you come to standing, we're just going to do a little kind of a foot ankle movement here. So standing upright, Tadasana pose. Feel the feet is grounding, pressing down. We'll do a little of our ankle foot work by lifting the heels up, lifting them straight up, and then lowering down. Now, when you lower down, you might even lift the toes up and just play with this back and forth, lifting the heels as you lower down. Really lift the toes, possibly the balls of the feet. It's good to wake up that strength and all of the little muscles through the lower legs, the ankles, even the toes. Doing a few more of these, sensing that the heart, the space around the heart is light. Space through the throat and the mouth. Good. And then as you release, just move weight onto your right leg and move into your tree pose. So I'm just going to let this be yogi's choice here, how you want to move into your tree pose today. So we We want to make sure there's no agenda here and that whatever's showing up, that we just respond with compassion. A sense of lightheartedness, even kind of playfulness, because these poses were really meant to be adventures every single time. Every single time, it's a new adventure. Possibly, if that's how you're approaching it, if you have that attitude, that connecting to life. It's like connecting to nature. If you've ever gone out for a walk, you never know what you might see or experience. And playfully now, from your tree pose, just briefly extend into a warrior three. So that means then that that left leg is just going to reach back. Nice tone around the abdominal weight, the waistband area, reaching way back. The arms maybe reach forward. Ah. And then coming up, really lifting up, placing that left leg down. Light heart right at the center. So it's a that lightheartedness, though, is a really deep strength. Balance on left leg. Right away. It's like going on this adventure. Let your awareness really move through the whole body. Is there something calling out for your attention today? So we have to intentionally explore. Can we be honest and real? Gradually, it's like the kind of the whole body is online, is involved. Every cell is present. Steady breathing, steady focus. So oftentimes there can be a pleasantness that arises just due to the focus and the connecting. The fullness of being here, non distracted. Warrior three. So that right leg is going to reach back, continue to balance, reach forward. Coming up, as that foot comes down, you can move yourself now towards the front of the mat. Taking palms together in front of the heart, ground your heels. Firm, lifting up here. Sweep the arms up. Move to your full forward bend. Full breath. Stepping back to down dog. Sharpen your pose. Breathe into your whole body. So there's a full, rich presence here. Slowly move towards your plank pose. Reach your heels back. Sense that length through the spine, space around your brain. Go ahead and lightly touch your knees down, very light. And then just do a few little push-ups here where you bend your elbows and you straighten your arms. And then you bend your elbows and you straighten. You just do this in your own way. Pressing. We're really working on just that fullness of the whole body being present. Now go all the way down towards the floor. As you land, the legs go way back. You move to your cobra pose. Pause, steady your breath, even close your eyes. So you can tell that you're not just on autopilot here. You're not waiting for some bigger, better pose. It's a deep understanding, like this is the work, is our foundational poses. Lengthen and lift the legs. And as you reach your arms back to your full locust pose. And as you're breathing here, you can almost get this sense of buoyancy, or truly like you're almost floating or flying through the air. Move back to down dog. Feel the connection through your hands, through your feet. Sharpen that angle in your hips. Work that flexion in your hips. Look back to your feet so your neck is long. Reach the right leg back. As you do that, lift your left heel up. Lift that right leg high up. And then pull the knee into your chest. Bend the right knee. Just pull it in and kind of hover here. Reach the right leg back again. And then pull it into the chest. Squeeze, pull in, hover. Right leg goes back again, lifts up. And then the stepping forward. As you step up between your hands, take a nice big lunge position here where your left leg, your left heel really reaches back and straighten that back leg. Your right knee reaches forward. So get a sense of those two directions, and then go ahead and lift up so you just have your fingertips touching. Nice, full, steady breath. So the back foot, that left foot will drop down, and you're going to actually push into the feet, just straighten both legs. Lift up, pull up through your legs, lift up through your spine, and move to your stargazer pose, where you're eventually starting to look up. But you'll be able to tell if you force that, it'll be all wobbly. So grounding and taking the time you need. Ground down and lift up. And then as you reach your arms out to the side, you bend the front knee, you move to warrior one. Feel free to shift your feet. So you could ground that back heel. Reach the arms behind, interlace your fingers. Lift the navel, get that lift of your pelvic floor. Keep drawing the shoulder blades together here. Now lift the arms a little bit away from the back, but stay really wide across your chest and just fold forward here. Lift the arms, folding. Do this in a playful way. Lifting, folding over, drop your head. And then push into the feet as you start to come up. You release your fingers. You just go all the way up to your warrior one. Ground the back heel. And then as you let go, fold forward, step forward to your full forward bend. Uttanasana. The backs of the legs getting longer, lifting up. Even your inner thighs really pulling straight up. Drop your head. Connecting. Now push firmly into the feet. Really push into the feet and come up. All the way up. Reach up and then palms together in front of your heart. So when we're bringing in this steady breath, like at any moment you can connect to that steady breath. You really should reveal that there's space within. So there's not this feeling that we're kind of backed up against a wall and we're just waiting. We're waiting for the moment to end. Arms come up. Reach the arms way out. Hinge at the hips. All the way over, lengthening, forward bend. Big breath, and then take yourself back to your down dog. Growing that strength in your arms, that firmness, like what it feels like just to straighten your elbows. You know, the arms actually pull back into their sockets here. Close your eyes and just breathe through your nose here, even feeling now the inversion, like what it feels to be a little bit upside down in this down dog. Moving to your plank pose. Every time there's a freshness. Light touch, knees touch. Taking your push-ups, however you want to do these. Very small little elbow bend. Or you could do some really big push-ups. And then all the way down. Extend the legs back. And then just notice your own process as you go into your locust pose. Bringing awareness to areas maybe you typically don't. Your toes. Feel your kneecaps, like how straight your legs are. The kneecaps, like pull into their little divots. And the shoulders, like that work of drawing your shoulder blades together. The internal spaciousness. So there's a little wiggle room here. You're not at your absolute max. Transition to down dog. When you move to down dog, close your eyes, breathe steady. Now, left leg is going to lift up. And then you bend your left knee, you pull it into your chest, you kind of hover here. Left leg reaching back and up again. Pulling the knee into the chest. Squeezing, holding. And left leg reaching back again. This time stepping forward. Into your lunge. So find your position for your feet, the distance. Straighten the back leg. So your heel reaching back. And then the left knee reaching forward. Fingertips. Very light, so legs are doing most of the workload here. So the back right foot is going to drop down. And as you push into your feet, the more you push down, the more of the strength like lifts up through your legs. Arms reach out. So from the legs, like just straight up through the spine. So there's that connection, that lift of your pelvic floor. As you lift up, stay connected to the earth as you move to stargazer. It's good to remember stargazer does not have to look straight up. Reach the arms way out to the side. A little bend of your left knee. Breathing as the arms come behind you. Stay really wide across your chest. Your shoulder blades pull together. Just exploring. This is quite a demanding pose. Now your arms are straightening and they start to lift up as you fold forward. Back leg straightening, maybe lifting your arms. Again, really good pose. Just explore. Without an agenda. Connecting, staying connected. And then you just push right into your feet. Coming up. Release the fingers, moving right into your warrior one. And as you release, the arms come down, you step forward to your full forward bend. So you're just balancing on both legs, head dropping. Push into the feet, come all the way up. Ground your heels, lift the chest, and just bringing the arms down. Good. So we're going to move into just a little twist, standing twist. So if you're near a wall, I just love doing this one with a wall because you're not struggling at all with, I might fall over. Completely up to you. So this is just the twist where you could take your right hand, lightly touching the wall. And I'm really close. I'm pretty close to the wall. So when I lift I'm going to lift my right knee up. So the knee, that's the leg that's closer to the wall. Lifting tall. And then twist towards the wall. Towards the right side. Now right away here, already your body is the teacher. Stay tall, twisting just little by little. As your right arm is reaching back, you might keep your fingertips on the wall, or you might just reach back so there's no contact with the wall. Lift the heart. So there's space within. Untwist, letting go. So switch sides, you're just rotating, left fingers, hand touching the wall a little bit. Balance on your right leg, lift that left knee up. So keeping that right leg firm and strong, take that little twist to your left. Lift your collarbones, twisting. Lots of space to breathe. Untwist, letting go, foot comes down. Good. So that pose is really similar to our revolved triangle pose. So we're just going to take this as a little standing pose here before we move into our down dog work. So you're going to take the right foot and just step your right foot forward and take your left leg back. So your wide-legged stance, legs straight. So this might be good then to work this pose without a block, without really touching anything here, except you can have a little touch as you reach across. So we ground the back heel, that left heel really pushing down. We lift the chest. So we're going to take the arms way out to the side here. Keep your shoulder blades on your back. And just imagine that your left hand now is going to reach across to your right shin. But you have to twist. So ground the left heel, hinge forward. And as you reach across, light touch, twisting, opening. So really strong pose and then come up. So this, we're kind of working this, the balance part of this is to stay grounded as you fluidly move into that Little twist here. Do this 2 more times. Strong legs. Hinge at your hips. Twisting. Now that right hand, if it feels better at your hip, you could do that. And it's twisting open. And then push into your feet. Come all the way up. Breathing. Lift the chest. Fold forward. Twisting, opening. And coming up. Step forward. That back foot comes up. That right foot is going to step back. So grounding, stable, strong legs, lift the chest, reach the arms out, and just play with this. Hinge forward, and then a twisting. You reach that right hand, touch your left shin. Lift the chest, coming up. Kind of playful here. You know, when we twist, so as you're going into this, we need to lengthen the spine as you touch. So you kind of don't have that agenda of where you're going to touch. Coming up. Grounding, twisting. Press the feet down. Coming up. Good. Step forward. One great big sweeping sun salutation here. Just breathe and move. Forward bend. Your down dog. Nice big breath. Moving to your plank. And do a few back and forth. You put your down dog. Plank pose. Move. Breathe. Really stable. Steady. Soak in the inhale, squeezing out the exhale. And then maybe right down to the floor. Into your back bend. Just let it organically grow here. As you're in your locust pose, if you want to briefly take your bow pose, you could grab your feet. Push your feet into your hands, lift your thighs up. So we're growing our sensitivity. Is this a good idea today? Releasing, and in your own way, back to your down dog. Taking little steps forward, little, right to your forward bend. And push into the feet and come up. So there was a lot of just preliminary down dog work. But it's different if you were to practice downward facing dog and hold it there longer. So I'm going to give you some options here to play with. Down dog is very quickly a different pose if we take some height under the feet. So you can do this at the wall. One way I'm just going to show in a very easy way. Oh, there's my lightsaber. I'm sorry, but lightsaber doesn't really help you in this circumstance. So I'll just put it away. I'm going to take my mat over just so I can use sticky mat under my hands. So I'm using my couch. It's just a little higher height here. What is this going to be like? So with my hands down, and I'm actually in just kind of my down dog shape here, and I'm just going to take my feet higher. So if you're interested in moving towards something like a handstand, something like this is really good preparatory work. So you might find a couch works really good like this because my feet are angled because the cushion is really soft and mushy. Chairs don't work so well for this. So right now you might either just take a down dog, longer hold, or feet on a couch. Some of you might know in class we've done the variation with two blocks that are angled against the wall. So coming out of that, feet come down. So now, kind of like we did with our bridge pose and shoulder stand that we did last week, I'm just going to get into a lot of repetition and a lot of options. You might just be moving in and out of down dog. It's such a beautiful pose for preparing for doing the weight bearing on the arms. So you could do any of that. Again, you could go back to your couch again if you want to stay with like, oh, this is a lot more demanding on your upper body strength. Or you could come over to the wall. Now with my mat coming out from the wall, I think even though you can't see my hands so well here, just so I don't have to move my computer, you can see my legs because the legs is going to be the main part that you'll want to watch here. So I'm going to move to just a forward bend. As I go to a forward bend, I'm going to balance on my right leg, and I'm just going to take my left foot on the wall. Okay? And then I'm going to play with that foot on the wall. I'm going to lift my right foot up and just bring it down. I'm going to lift my foot up and then bring it down. What a great thing to do preparation. I might lift my foot and bring it to the wall and then bring it back down. Okay, so, and I could get a little bit closer. Now, what happens when I get closer to the wall? As I inch closer, my foot is going to go higher up, and I'm going to lift up here. So isn't this getting me closer to an actual handstand? Now, of course, it's a good idea to balance or go with the other leg. So I'm going to reach my right foot up. Left foot is down, lifting up, touching down. Stay connected to your breath. What a great thing to explore in the walls of your own home because you really can go at your own pace. Bring both feet up and then carefully come down. You might take a break. You might pause, come up, and kind of shake your arms, go back into it, and be sensitive. This might not be something you do very often. So get more into the mindful moving in and out of the pose. Lifting the foot a little bit, bring it down. So very playful. You can even stay further away, hands further away. And just that little lift up. And just playful. Now, of course, you could face the wall. And if you wanted to, you could go into more of a full arm balance here. The type where you just take your hands down to the mat, Step up, you kick, you start to kick one leg up, and you get into that. Even if you don't get up the first time, you might play, and usually you can tell right away if that's a wise move or not. You want to make sure the arms are not going to suddenly buckle and give out. So that's why I like to start this one with just, instead of like trying to get up, just a little kick. Like you just like, oh, how does that feel? However, if you want to play with that, going up into that full arm balance. I don't want to go up because I have this object on my wall. I could go the further away pose. Nope. I hate it. If I'm further away, I could go into more of the splits. So I know I'm giving you time to practice with this. Taking one foot on the wall, lifting up here, reaching. And then winding down. So maybe finishing up with your more upside down, down dog variations. As you let this go, you're just going to move right to a seated pose. Take the legs wide apart. Let's just give the legs just a little massage here. Reach the hands down one leg. Come all the way up. Reach the hands down the other leg. Just come all the way up. Breathing, moving, really fluid. Pausing, taking the soles of the feet together. Taking the hands under the feet if that feels okay. So we've been doing a lot of this position with the wrists. So do the opposite. Tuck the hands under the feet. Reach the knees way out. Lift up to the spine and maybe start to move this a little deeper forward. Forward bend. Space around the heart. As you come up, just moving into the legs wide apart again. So it's a really different position now. Legs are straight, but the legs are wide apart. They're not rotating. Forward bend here. Ground the legs down. Lengthen. Feel that sense of the spine lengthening, space around your heart. Steady the breath. Let go of any craving or wanting. Just connecting with certainty, connecting with life. It makes sense if you really lower down here, you drop to your elbows. Sometimes it might be physically possible to take your elbows down, but then you get that kind of stressful feeling and you might lift up a little bit and check it out. As you come up, bend your knees, bring the knees a little closer and lean back. Drop the knees back and forth here. Really loose. Soft belly. And then dropping. So you're going to go right onto your back. You drop back. You reach your arms out to the side and lift the feet a little bit. Here, we'll take that twist where the legs stay together and you just float the legs just back and forth, dropping a little to the right, dropping a little to the left. Make sure, like if the head naturally moves here, when you drop your legs to the left, let the head roll, kind of look the other way. So let this be just organic, twisting movement through the spine. Just let the knees drop to one side. And then they go up and over to the other side. And then the knees come up, and you can move yourself to Shavasana. So that even in Shavasana, you're investigating like what position feels right for your bones today. Completely drop, release the weight of your head. And as you do that, be very aware of how we hold these little micro tensions in our body. So as you really drop the weight of your head, even let the head just roll slightly side to side, just the smallest amount, and it's getting heavier and heavier. Pause and start to feel the whole body almost getting heavier as it's sinking into the floor. Doing this consciously, letting go, letting go. There's absolutely no control. Let the breath breathe you. Sense the space in the body. Move your awareness to this inner cosmos. Seeing the body as nature, and the lawful unfolding. But as you choose to focus your attention, this unfolding is a letting go of tension. You're very aware how your full attention dissolves tension in the body. Be aware of the softness of your belly, softness around your throat, around your eyes, your eyelids. And the breath moving through the body. Hmm. Letting the eyes slowly open. Letting the arms reach into a little stretch and re-enter the day. Hmm. You might let your knees bend one at a time. If you want to, you could transition, bring yourself back to seated. Of course, you might want to stay longer laying on the floor. sensing the effect of your practice today. Observing just this kind of the great mystery around what leads to this freedom and yet this connection with life. We're going to take palms together in front of the heart and just imagine as we end with the sound of Om that this vibration, this kind of this life-giving vibrations moves around their heart, around your throat, taking a deep inhale. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, practicing together.